Right, here we go. Patch notes. Welcome to the Elder Scrolls Online version 8.1.5 and the Lost Depths DLC. This DLC continues the legacy of the Brendan storyline and introduces 2 new 4-player dungeons for you to explore, along with several new item sets, collectibles, and furnishings for you to obtain. The Update 35 base game adds a number of new rewards for the worthy item sets and furnishings, as mentioned in the Update 35 combat preview. We have also been working on improving accessibility to the game's combat by increasing the duration of outgoing ability effects, and I've continued to quell some of the damage production on the high end. So my last video, where we looked at the patch notes, they changed light and heavy attacks to like a flat damage number, right? I think they've scrapped that. So I've heard, or we're about to find out. And now it does scale with your stats again. So these are 2 new dungeons, Earthen Root Enclave and Graven Deep. We'll be playing them in a little bit. New item sets, let's talk about these. Earthen Root Enclave has Stone's Accord, which gives you Magicka, Healing Magicka. On heal with an area effect, apply Minor Berserk and Minor Resolve to healed allies for 4 seconds. If a healed ally already has Minor Berserk or Minor Resolve from Stone's Accord, restore Magicka. Minor Berserk is 5% damage, right? And Minor Resolve is resistances? So it's a little bit damage and resistances to people you heal in an AoE. Okay, it could be solid, or give them Magicka back if they've already got it. Could be a solid set. Rage of the Ursork. Combat prayer set. Yeah, it actually is, isn't it? Penetration, crit chance. When you deal damage with a heavy attack, create a 12-meter area for 12 seconds that grants empower to allies inside. Increasing the damage on the heavy attacks against monsters by 80%. Empower's had a change as well, right? I need to look at the Empower change. People saying Empower doesn't affect players anymore? So this is a useless PvP set. I will be looking at this with a lot of my... I have PvP eyes. This is like, I'm a PvPer. This is how I enjoy the game. So it's going to be a lot of PvP perspective. Hey Jen, good morning. Combat Prayer. There's a set that is going to be applying Minor Berserk and Minor Resolve to allies you heal in an AoE. So, like Combat Prayer does, but a set. Deeproot Zeal. Stamina, Magicka, Health. When you deal direct damage to a taunted target, restore Magicka and Stamina. Recovery set. Interesting. Tank set, I guess. Do tanks ever want for resources, though? Like, if you build a good tank, you shouldn't be. Combat Prayer with Negro, yeah. Archdruid Deverick. This is a monster set, adds penetration, and when you deal damage with a heavy attack, after 1.2 seconds deal shock damage to up to 6 enemies within a 7-meter cone on your target, applying major vulnerability to them for 7 seconds, increasing the damage enemies take by 10%. Shock damage, major vulnerability. That could be decent. 1.2 seconds is a lot of time to get out of the way in PvP, though. It really is. How you doing, Jin? How was your weekend? I was going to say, you're going to be heavy attacking a lot as a tank anyway, right? And synergizing, yeah. Hey, Octavian! How you doing? Welcome in. Grave Inevitability. This is a light set from Graven Deep. Adds crit chance, damage, crit chance. Dealing damage with a light or heavy attack grants you a stack of Remorseless for 5 seconds, up to 5 stacks. Up to once every 0.5 seconds. While you have 5 stacks, you generate an Aura of Focus, granting you Major Force, increasing your crit damage. While you have the Aura of Focus, allies within 12 meters, you gain Minor Force. What are the other ways to get Major Force in PvE? Like, I already think that's a useless PvP set because you have to stack, which is a nightmare. Trying to get 5 light or heavy attacks in whilst also having to fight off people. I mean, it happens, but... I feel like there are other ways to get major force. That might be good, though. What did it say? 12 allies within 12 meters of you? Is it like every ally within 12 meters of you? That could be good. That could be good. Phylacteries Grasp. Damage, crit chance, crit chance. On light attack, critical damage. You apply Withered Soul, dealing disease damage over 10 seconds. On light attack, critical damage on an enemy with Withered Soul, you restore stamina. Withered Soul can occur once every 10 seconds, and damage scales off the higher. Light attack, crit damage. So with this set, can you put Withered Soul on them and then just keep light attacking them, and you'll just restore loads of stamina if you just keep crit damaging? That's a light attack spam set, that is. Kimda's but for crit, yeah. Saxiel and Horn, yeah. Which each stack gave something. Yeah, like these sets are always a nightmare in PvP. This one's not too bad because it's just any light or heavy attack will stack it. But there's some which is like just, you know, stack 10 of these on one target, and you're like, there's no way I can hit one target with 10 things in PvP before they either die anyway, or they get away from me somehow, or I have to like peel off and do something else. So they're never PvP focused. So like whenever I see grants you a stack, I automatically just think nah. I'm just like nah, not happening. Pangrit Den Mother, healing taken, armor, health recovery, or it's a tank set. When you block and you up to 3 group members within 12 meters gain minor courage, increasing your weapon spell damage. Solid, solid. Euphotic Gatekeeper, did I say that right? Recovery. When you use roll dodge, create a Hadolid Husk after you roll. While within 5 meters of the Hadolid Husk, it will absorb all direct damage attacks against you. After 1 second, the Hadolid Husk explodes, dealing poison damage. Interesting. You get a full second of... defense, basically. I don't use sets that do stacks of things. That's half the reason I'm still using Hundings and Briarheart 4 years later. Yeah, I've never liked them. It's like... I was very resistant to getting Kinras, you know, because it's just like... Ugh. Like, even though I was doing it anyway, it's... keeping track of it. So that's new sets. Did any of these change drastically from when they got announced like 3 months ago? I don't know if they did. I can't really remember them. New achievements, new collectibles and die. There's a memento for the Julef's Bubble Ward that you get for doing Grave and Deep. It's a cool memento. You get Hermit Crab? What? There's new Furnishings. If anybody's interested in Furnishings, I have yet to do it. Here we go. Rewards for the worthy. Are you guys worthy? Stack sets always seem to be very conditional or hard to keep up, or they're too good and get nerfed anyway. Yeah, I think they're intended for like boss fights, right? Where you're just hitting the same thing anyway. So you're always going to have high uptime on it. But again, it's like impossible for PvP. So there's like 50 people in the breach of a keep, and you're trying to hit the same person. It's like, it's just not happening. Langur of Periite. Damage, crit resist. Penetration. You do 6% increased damage to blocking players. Interesting. When you deal light attack damage to an enemy that is immune to crowd control. Oh, I remember this one from... Hey, is it funny that like it's all gone from my brain like 3 months later? It's like they're all new to me. Apply Langur, reducing their magic recovery and stamina recovery. That I remember that was 6%, wasn't it? Yeah, that hasn't changed. Okay. I wonder... wonder how much use. I'm just trying to think of how many people I fight who actually block. I don't think it's that much. I really don't think it's that many players. Nocturnal's Ploy. Penetration, crit resist, stamina recovery. When you apply a major buff to an enemy, remove a major buff with a duration from a target. When you apply a minor debuff to an enemy, remove a minor buff. Sorry, minor debuff, you remove a minor buff. Major debuff, you remove a major buff. I've heard people say that this is going to be super strong. 6% is nothing though. Yeah, and like they have to be blocking to get that 6%. The only time I can think of using this is like against PvP tanks who just sit next to a rock and block, you know, and then run around the rock. It's like, but then like they're not really much of trouble anyway. They're just annoying. This is what we were talking about last time, where like how these effects can both occur once every 15 seconds, and the target can be affected once. Okay, so you can't stack this with multiple people and just put remove every buff. Okay, like because I remember we were talking about this, like how often could you do it? Like if they reapplied it. And like, does it remove, if I put a major debuff on them, does it remove a random major buff, or does it remove the one that's got like which major buff does it remove, basically? Like, if it removes the one that's about to run out anyway, I don't care. Like, but if it removes the one they've just used, you know, and they would have got a 20-second uptime on that buff, but now it's gone, and they have to recast it again, then, you know, you can make good use out of that. I'm assuming it's just a random. You can only do it once every 15 seconds as well. So you'll pretty much only be putting one debuff and one major and one minor, just to remove one major and one minor, because by the time that 15 seconds is up, people have rebuffed anyway. With a duration, yeah, so you have to study to figure out if they have a buff that has a duration. Yeah, like, most people will have, like, sorcery or brutality up, right? So you'll remove sorcery or brutality. And they usually last, like, what, 20 seconds? But then can they just recast it? And they just get it straight back again? Or like if they cast major brutality and then 2 seconds later they cast major resolve, will it always take off the first one they used, or will it take off a random one? If you remove a potion buff, oh, that'd be crazy. People have been saying it's gonna be really strong, but I don't think, like, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to keep track. It would literally just be like, if I was wearing that, I'd be like, okay, make sure I put a major debuff on, make sure I put a minor debuff on, and then 15 seconds later, I'll just do it again. But I won't be able to take advantage of which buff it removes from them. Like, I won't be able to tell, oh, it's removed brutality, so they've got less damage, so I won't need to heal as much. You know, like, I don't think I'll be able to keep track of that. I won't know which buff it's removed from them, you know. Like, whereas if I knew that, if I'm like, oh, I removed their resolve, so they've got less resistances, so now's the time to attack and put some pressure on. Like, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what was what. It's pointlessly complicated, yeah. I mean, like, you just put it on and just ignore it, and just, you know, sometimes you'll get... It'll all work out, right? And you'll get the benefit of it removed a major buff from them at the perfect time for you to kill them, you know. Or double stacking, like the one bar Ogunsul werewolf buffs, you get double buffs, but one has a duration, one is permanent. Yeah, that's gonna need a lot of testing, I think. Yeah, and like, well, every buff they get from Ogunsul is permanent, so and this has to be with a duration. It's a nice idea. I like it. It's something different. I don't know if I would use it though. Like, I would much rather use what's the one that all the Dragon Knights use, where it just gives you one of the 5 random buffs? Like, I'd rather have a set that buffs me randomly than a set that debuffs the enemy randomly. Because there is another set that removes one of the 5 major debuffs. Like, it gives one of the 5 major debuffs to the enemy, right? And I never like that because I can't tell. I can't effectively or easily tell which debuff they've got. I mean, there is the icon, right? And you can see that, oh, they've got this debuff. But, like, when I'm in the middle of things, I don't want to be looking at icons and seeing which debuff they have on them. I just want to be, you know, keeping track of what they're doing and, you know, blocking their attacks and, you know. Hey, Will! Got my coffee and I'm ready to rage. Really angry. Daedric Curse is the one that gives you the 5 buffs. Yeah, see, I would rather have that than anything. I would rather buff myself than debuff the enemy any day. I don't know why. Maybe that's just my playstyle. But anyway, yeah. Interesting one. I like it. Yeah, I like it, but I don't know if I'd use it. That's my review. Mara's Balm. Armor, crit resist, healing taken. When a negative effect is removed from you, restore health. When you take damage, you have 6 and have 6 or more negative effects. Cleanse all of the effects. Interesting. 2000 health. Removed from you, so not worn off. It has to be removed. It has to be removed early. Then you circle well. Yeah. Fancy red helmet. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at it. Look at it. 2-month subscriber. There's new furnishings. I'm not going to go through these because I'm not going to know what the hell I'm talking about. I will be doing some furnishing eventually when they stop releasing content. And I have nothing else to do. I really want to find the time to do furnishing, but I swear there's just never any time. But anyway, this game's too big. Make the game smaller. Dungeons! Oh, they changed. They fixed an issue with various effects in Captain Numeral encounter being reflected when those effects should not allow reflection. Fixed an issue that was causing Zbaza in Coral Area to not always respect curated RNG rules. Gotta respect the rules, folks. Sending tied achievement categories now in the proper order in the achievement list. Mars Bomb Silk with Purge for solo. Yeah, I was thinking Templar. Because I'm going to have to change my Templar build because I don't think it's going to work anymore. Wait, what did you need to see? Oh, did you want to look at furnishing stuff? Gannon, would you be able to post the link again for these? In fact, why don't I just do it? Duh. If anybody wants to see the patch notes, they are right there. Boo, boo. What are we looking at? Got it? Got it, Jin? You good? Okay. General fixes and improvements. You can now jump to friends, groupmates, and guildmates in Zenothar's Abbey and the Silent Hills. Silent Hills? Silent Halls. Achievements they fixed. They fixed some quests. They fixed some UI. That's cool. Excellent, excellent. We like fixes. It makes the game feel more polished and nice. You know what I mean? Antiquities broken. Oh! Hi-oh! Bowbreaker. Fix an issue where Bowbreaker may fail to move upon casting Bog Burst. This fix was included in PTS patch version 8.1.0 and the patch note was unintentionally missed. Reef Guardian, the achievement once into the depths will no longer be awarded if you go into the depths more than once. People will get the achievement once into the depths multiple times. That's ironic. A new set of 20 High Isle structural furnishing plans are available from the High Isle reward coffers. Hey Cropson, what's up? Oh god, it's like you're speaking a different language, Jin, when you talk about furnishing. I got no idea. It's crazy, a game I played this much I know so little about. Nice, Valkyrie, done it already? Damn. I will be doing the dungeons today if anybody wants to join. I'm PCEU. I'll probably just be doing them on normal first to go through the story and stuff with them. Do the quests and whatnot. These are quest stuff. Tales of Tribute. Here we go. Tribute NPCs are now a little smarter during matches. Companion chatter is now suppressed while in Tales of Tribute match. Oh, thank God. And I have Isabel behind me going, hey! And I'm like, Isabel, please, I'm trying to play. Fixed an issue that prevented placement and ranked tribute matches from updating experience after the match ends. Fixed an issue that could cause someone to forfeit a match as it started when hitting the old key. Oh, that sucks. Fixed an issue where matches... Wait, I think that happened to me once. Fixed an issue where matches could get unintentionally interrupted. By what? Fixed a few issues that could cause you to get stuck in the Tribute's activity finder. Fixed an issue where you could get stuck in a state where your game interactions were disabled. Fixed an issue where spamming patron powers while a card was being played could result in getting the game stuck. Happened to me. The maximum loss and gain from a Rubedite ranked match is now capped at 150 points. Hey Hunt, NPCs are smarter. It's pretty vague, yeah. Does it mean they're going to try and cheat their way to victory? Fixed an issue that caused the ranked play Ebony tier to require more experience to advance than intended. The Ebony tier now requires 1,000 experience to advance, similar to the other non. How does that happen? Like, how does just the Ebony tier... Like, is that just a typo when they were like, okay, we're making the game, how much experience do we need to get to Ebony? Whoops! And then they hit the wrong button. Like, how does that happen? Game development, my goodness. Bragas no longer sits out of view during a conversation before he teaches you how to play. Thanks, Bragas. You will now receive automatic placement match wins when a new season begins based on your final tier in the prior season. Really? Interesting. Fixed an issue that allowed you to receive a Tales of Tribute invite while still in the summary screen from a previous match. Fixed an issue where the Tales of Tribute patron draft timer could stall at 0.0. Well, then you Hyal Caravel miniature so I can make a mini armada. That sounds very cool. Achievements. Fix the achievements. Fix an issue that could cause audio to be cut off during the final match of the Tribute questline. Aligned the clue for Somerset sacking with the card upgrade that points to Somerset raid. Duke of Crows. Oh, here we go. Increase the gold cost of Scratch to 4 from 3. Okay. Scratch is more expensive. No, what'd you do to Alalu? Increase the gold generation from a hireling to 2 gold from 1. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's the, I forgot what card that was. That's the agent. Yeah. Increase the acquire value of Oathman. Oh, they increased... They increased the acquire value of Oathman to... Wasn't it already 6? Maybe. Celarus. Reduce the replace cost from Sephora's Insight to 1 from 2 and increase the toss to 4 from 3. Reduce the replace... There's too many R words. From Sigic's Insight to 1 from 2 and increase its toss to 4 from 3. Reduce the... Okay, yeah, whatever. Rajan, increase the gold generation from Prowling Shadow to 2 from 1. Interesting. Oh, what'd you do to Red Eagle? Reduce the combo 2 power generation from Midnight Raid. Midnight Raid's not as good. It used to be 3 power, and if you comboed it was 3 power. Now it's 3 and 2. Imperial Soils now generates 1 gold on combo 2. Increased the gold generation from Imperial Plunder to 2 from 1. Here we go. St. Penna needed some change. Increase the gold cost of Armory. Increase the gold cost of Rally. Reduce the gold generation from Siege Weapon Volley combo from 2 to 1. Hey Trass! So hyped to have some counterplay to a 1-turn Armory in the tavern. I know. Oh man, it's kind of painful, wasn't it? So they fixed some quests. Okay, rewards. Tribute season rank trophy furnishings will now be granted for how do you say that? Orichil. I've never been able to say that word ever. Ebony, Quicksilver, and Voidsteel. Double the gold found in tribute reward bags. Hey-oh! Tribute reward bags no longer grant potions, poisons, soul gems, food, or drinks. Thank God! Reduce the chance of receiving some alchemy materials. Damn, that sucks. Reduce the chance of receiving furnishing patterns. What? Winning multiple matches for tribute daily quests will now grant a progressively higher quality reward bag based on your victories when turned in, instead of the additional bags of lower quality. There you go. Orichalcum.
Praising mother.
Take the H out, damn it. PvE Tribute Daily Quest will offer green, blue, and purple quality reward bag for 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. Fix an issue that caused ranked tier rewards to display transmute crystal rewards in stacks of 1 instead of single stack with all the crystals. Gold received from some tribute reward bags will no longer be affected by passive bonuses. Does it mean champion points? Nice, Tango. Playable and damageable cards now have different highlights. Fixed numerous minor visual issues. Fixed an issue that would cause your screen to visibly shake when playing tribute near Volcanic Fen. Oh dear. The post-game match summary now displays your club rank increases. Updated the descriptions of patron collectibles. Patron collectibles now have clearer acquire hints. Improve the messaging when knocking out agents with a taunt. Fix a typo in the Grandmaster's... Oh no, there was a typo! Fix an issue that caused a tribute game summary. Okay. Fixed. Is there anything about changing the entire look of the game? Because I swear they have. Maybe not. Imperial City Prison. Fix an issue if you were in Daedric Shackle's Trophy Vault. You would join encounters in progress, potentially disrupting the ability to loot an unopened trophy chest. Oh dear. Fix an issue if you were in the Daedric Ember's Trophy Vault. That is the same thing. Whole game looked wrong before. Yeah, it was just one giant visual issue apparently. Completed Imperial City Vault keys and their dungeon counterparts can now be banked or laundered if stolen. The carved bone key is now like its counterparts in that it is no longer character bound, but still bound to your character, can be banked and can be laundered. Fix an issue where Imperial City Vault keys generated from various sources would not stack. We get to the good stuff, the meat. Fixed an issue if you sprinted like whoa off of the ledge. You might miss the area that triggers the Red Eagle's flight achievement before you pancake on the ground. The designer's petition to rename the achievement Red Eagle Splat was denied. Apparently you can steal vault keys. I still have loads of vault keys lying around. They're having a bit of a laugh with that one, I think. If you sprinted off the ledge, you might miss the area that triggers the Red Eagle's flight. What's the Red Eagle flight achievement? Do you have to jump off a thing? Actual worst denied petition? I know, we should start our own petition to get that changed. How dare they? Ruins of Mazatun, mighty Chudan, can no longer be affected by Mangle. In case you were wondering. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Are we ready? Get comfortable, folks. It's time to get angry. No, I'm kidding. It's a yeet. Can't wait to earn that one. Right. Combat and gameplay. Combat and abilities. General. Adjusted the standards of light and heavy attacks in terms of damage and resource restores. Was that an angry scream? My god, Kitsune. Hey Kitsune, thank you for the 300 bits. Holy shit, how you doing today? How was your weekend? We're getting angry though. Hydrate, hey, I'm back up. Ooh. Hello, how you doing? I need some water after that. That did sound like an angry scream. Checked on my coffee. This will be the death of me one day, those goddamn jump scares. I know. Sorry, everybody. Thank you, Kitsune. Right. Adjusted the standards. Adjusted the standards of light and heavy attacks in terms of damage and resource restores. Reduce the damage that light attacks do by approximately 26% to ease back on their overall impact while retaining their importance in their rotation. Okay. Hey Zolpox. Updated the damage scaling coefficient from fully charged heavy attacks to follow a streamlined model that looks at their total cast time, cooldown, and damage when paired with a spammable attack, such as Lava Whip, to help reduce the DPS loss seen when you utilize heavy attacks instead of light attacks. Their coefficient will now be a total of 1 per second rather than varying between 0.97 and 1.12. This will result in the following adjustments. That all went over my head, I'll be honest. So you can use more heavy attacks now because you might get almost as much DPS in there as if you light weaved. Is that what they're saying? Hey Crimson! How you doing? One-handed shield heavy attacks, damage reduced by approximately 1%. Two-handed heavy attacks, reduced by 1%. Dual-wield heavy attacks, reduced by 28%. Holy shit. Inferno and Ice Staff heavy attacks, thank God. 26%. Always the bane of my life, those. Total cast time reduced to 1.8 seconds, identical to the total cast of two-handed weapons, down from 2.1 seconds. Reduced resources to retain the same restore per second. Okay. Are we up to date? Are we keeping, like, because they've reduced light attacks, they've reduced heavy attacks as well, but some by not as much because of the time it takes to do them and the damage they did anyway? All of this does go over my head as well. I just kind of do it, you know, like I weave light attacks and I use heavy attacks, but I'm just adding damage on. I'm not thinking about how much damage it is adding on. Again, I'm looking from a PvP perspective. I know this is mainly a PvE change. The patch notes give us information that only may fully make sense to people with access to all the numbers on the dev side. I know it is hard to follow. Like, it is mainly for people who have been playing this for years who also know all the numbers too. Like, there's a lot of numbers I know, and I feel like I'm nowhere near up there with some of the other people. But yeah. The Resto heavy build was a nightmare. Restoration staff heavy attacks. Damage reduced by 15%. Lightning staff heavy attacks reduced by 2%. Can you dodge roll the end of those? Bow heavy attacks reduced by 1%. Oh, increased by 1%. Oh, damn. Werewolf heavy attacks damage reduced by approximately 14%. Volendrung heavy attacks damage reduced to 7,500, down from 60 damage. Oh, it's over, everybody. Just remove Volendrung from the game. That's, you know, fair enough. I mean, I guess it's in line with the rest, right? But it's a weird, a weird change. We did it, boys. Bow is viable. Hey-oh! I'm gonna make a bow build now. We got an increased 1% on our heavy attacks. Let's go. You downloaded ESO, Clopson? Give it a go. Give it a go. Give it a go. As of this patch, you can now dodge roll the last hit. I heard about this. That's interesting. It's like not going to be noticeable at all, right? But anyway. Streamlined resource restored from fully charged heavy attacks to grant an average of approximately 1,350 resources based on their total cast time and cooldown, rather than varying values with no standardization. Two-handed and Volendrung restore 2,425 stamina. That's slightly down from 2,426. Restoration staff now restores 3,267. That's up from 3,219. One-handed shield now restores 2,293 stamina. That's up from 2,014. That's quite a bit more stamina from one-handed shield. Yeah, buff one-handed shield. I want a one-handed shield PvP build. I want more of that. This is cool. It's fun to play. But they're bad. They do no damage. Ice and Inferno staffs now restore 2,425. Down from 2,000. Good. Get rid of these Inferno staffs. Note these attacks are also much faster. Dual Wield now restores 2,095, up from 1,798. I'm finding out my Templar is going to be a lot better sustain-wise, at least. Tried playing but got bored fast. It's an MMO, you know, they trap you after a few days, right? When you keep coming back, that's when they trap you. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I need to log in to do my thing. And then your life will be over. Hey, August! Unarmed combat resource buff. Oh, wait. Yeah. Bow now restores 2,772, up from 2,724. Lightning staffs 2,970, down from 3,632. Unarmed now restores 2,095, up from 1,600. We got an extra 400 resources. Let's go. Auto mythic that turns unarmed heavy attacks. Yeah, that would be incredible. Yeah. Making an unarmed build. Just give us a skill line that's like hand-to-hand combat. And like one of the passives is, when you don't have a weapon, your damage is increased by 50% or like something ridiculous. Because you are so underpowered if you don't have a weapon. Have you seen Hot D? I have seen Hot D, of course, Clopson. Of course I've seen Hot D. What's that building an unarmed character immediately? I did try. Chuck Florist. I tried making One Punch Man. It didn't work. So I get people call it Hot D. It's such a good acronym. Hot D. The final hit from Restoration and Lightning Staffs can now be dodged once again to ensure there is better counterplay at denying opponent resources. Oh, it's going to be so good to roll dodge a goddamn heavy attack. Adjusted many bonuses from set abilities and passives to better equate for these changes, which are listed under their sourced areas. Fixed an issue where dual wield medium attacks could deal more damage than their fully charged counterpart in some cases. During the Greymore area, we ran a test where we refactored the functionality of light and heavy attacks. While we ended up not implementing those changes due to player feedback, there were many positive notes and remarks we took away from the change list overall. This time around, we are implementing the good parts from the received feedback and avoiding the other areas. This was compounded by additional feedback during the PTS cycle with other adjustments made. High School of the Dead, that's the one. House of the Dragon. Overall, we are keeping light attacks in place of the top DPS producing results, albeit at a lesser extent than what they were doing before, and heavy attacks will remain more resource driven. The main reason for streamlining these values was to reduce the bloat of damage production they can provide at a high level, reinforcing an intense necessity to perfectly light weave to produce viable damage. In doing so, we've also been able to adjust item sets that augment these effects to be much more impactful without the concern of creating high burst potential in PvP environments. Long story short, make the strong weaker and make the weak slightly weaker, but make the strong more weaker. You saw a One Punch Man character in Cyrano? Oh god. I was using a set, what's that? It's like a gladiator set that gives you insane damage when they're like below 20% health or something, and I was just gonna go around and try and punch low health targets. Like Morbius predicted, Matt Smith. Spoiler! Hey Melon! Have to say hi and leave because I don't want spoilers during the new dungeons on Fair. No worries, Melon. Hope you're doing good. Catch you later. Long story short, light weaving is even more mandatory because you need to hit every... No, I disagree. I think... Yes, it doesn't help people who can't light weave. But I think the next... Let's put it this way. Let's say... Hang on. Let's say this figure here is top-end PvE players. Look how good, look how high up on the ladder they are. And my thumb is like people who can't light weave, right? Like they just can't do it. They're just not interested in learning, or you know they've got like a disability that prevents them from being able to do inputs like that. Now, let's say this finger is where the current difficulty of dungeons and trials are. It's like, let's say it's like right in the middle. Like the low people can't do it, the high people are doing it way too easy. What they're doing is they're just reducing the damage, so like the top comes like way further down, and then the bottom goes slightly down, and then they move the dungeons down. So now there's less of a difference between the top end players and the bottom end players, and then they can start adjusting the content based on where they want that. So eventually the content is going to get easier, so these people who can't light weave will eventually be able to do the thing. Does that make sense? I know right now it doesn't help at all. Like, it doesn't help at all. But what they're doing is they're reducing the gap between the players, so then they can make the content easier, or they can streamline the content for a smaller range of abilities. Does that make sense? That is my explanation. Kvatch Gladiator, that wasn't one. Middle finger's regular content. It was a terrible... I probably should have used Paint, MS Paint or something to show that off. But that's a lot of wishful thinking. Well, I think that's what they said, right? Like, eventually... Like, this is the first stage in, you know, making the game overall more accessible. It's just... It's going to be a rough couple of months, I think. Yeah. And I think it's going to be harder for the people who can't light weave now. Like, this change has made it even harder for them. But by next patch... When all the content, like, they made the content slightly easier, right? Like, I think we're about to see, right? They made dungeon bosses slightly weaker and stuff like that. And I think that's, like, the first tweak they're making, and then they're going to make it all, you know. So it does seem like, in the end, the top-end players are still going to be destroying the content. But the like lower end players will be able to do more of it. Weaving feels clunky, especially with relatively high, but yeah, I mean, I've never been a fan of it. I think it looks dumb, and it's like, that's why like PvE never connected with me very much. I mean, I do enjoy it. I just prefer the PvP aspect. Like, it makes the game look ugly. Like you cancel all these animations, and you're just like, your character's all over the place. It just looks horrible. But yeah. But anyway. So, this is also a change to make it easier for people. Oh, no, wait. Oh, God, there's more terminology between, like, sticky dots and static dots, right? Sticky and static, is that what they're calling them? Hang on. Okay, adjusted player damage over time abilities to generally follow the following rules based on their type. Target-based damage over time abilities will now last 20 seconds in duration, up from 10 seconds. Target-based refers to abilities that stick to the target, such as Fiery Breath or Blade Cloak. These abilities continue to tick every 2 seconds. Their damage per tick has been streamlined to 0.105 per second, down from 0.1575 per second, resulting in an increase in damage per cast, but a decrease in damage per second. Most costs have been untouched, reducing the overall cost per second of these abilities by half. This means their cost per second has decreased to 135, down from 270. Individual notes for effective abilities will be listed under their source skill lines. So, if you now have a dot, a damage over time that sticks to the target, let's say it was 10 seconds, it will now be 20. And when it used to tick every 1 second, it will now tick every 2 seconds. But overall, it would do more damage. It would just take longer to do it. But it would be... You'll only still have to hit the button once, and then it just sticks to the target, and then 20 seconds later, you hit it once again. So it makes sustain easier, because you'll only have to hit the button once every 20 seconds instead of once every 10. So it makes the game easier, it makes your sustain better, and technically it has more damage over time. But then there's the static-based damage over time abilities. These will continue to last between 10 and 15 seconds based on their source skill line. Did they not change? These have just stayed the same then. Static-based refers to abilities that are locked to an area after casting, such as Spear, Shards, or Volley. These abilities continue to tick once every second. Their damage per tick has been streamlined to 0.14 per second, down from 0.1575 per second, resulting in a slightly overall loss in damage. Their cost per second has been reduced to 270. Okay, so these are pretty much staying the same, but they've reduced the cost, and the damage is worse? Why would you ever pick one of these over a static 20-second one then? Would you? Why would you ever have a static? I mean, because I guess there's some skills that help in different ways, I guess. I would just want to stack more things, because they last twice as long. I don't have to worry about the boss moving, because it's stuck to them. I don't know. Oh, they just overall do more DPS, don't they? Yeah. Hey, Alchemicon! Saying they might be tweaking the damage range to be thinner to then balance the health range around. Yeah, like, I think right now they've just got, like, the player base is, like, you know, the level of ability between different PvEs is so wide right now, and they just want to reduce that gap so then they can make content easier. Like, it's easier to adjust the difficulty of content if you don't have this huge range of abilities in your player base. Dots are going to be pretty bad for short battles. Yeah, I mean, PvP-wise, this is less damage per second, so it's less pressure. And this is useless because they move out of it anyway. So, this is worse for PvP. It's going to be harder to kill people. Like, dot builds are just not going to be a thing. They're not really much of a thing now anyway, I don't think, but... You like to have the 1 or 2 dots just to have the pressure on whilst you're like, you know, spamming your spammable. Yeah, this is not a PvP change at all, though. In this update, we're re-evaluating our damage over time standards and cleaning up a lot of the power discrepancies between them, which are stagnating diversity of weapon choice in a lot of areas. Overall, we're trying to improve accessibility of damage production in-game, while simultaneously lowering the overall maximum DPS potential when playing super efficiently. As such, we've made damage over time effects easier to keep up, in addition to more obvious winners in terms of damage production over a spammable, but now with the added caveat that they take longer to deal their damage. This will create situations where damage over time will have much more clear advantages and disadvantages, making them easier to decide when to use and to upkeep or counter. We've also tried to retain some options for faster paced gameplay with static over time effects and better differentiating the pros and cons of the type of damage over time to ensure there are still options for you and your preferred playstyle. Oh my god. Oh god, healing. Adjust the power of player healing over time in tandem with the damage over time changes. We're gonna need to learn the Fungal Grotto 1 mechanic, it's true, Joe. We're gonna be dying on normal Fungal Grotto 1. Oh! And we're gonna be dying in Overland. Target-based healing over time abilities now heal for 0.1575 coefficient per second, down from 0.196875, of course. Static-based healing over time abilities now heal for 0.21 coefficient per second, up from 0.196875. I hope you're all taking notes. Tick rates for healing abilities remain relatively untouched. Target-based remain at a frequency of 2 seconds, while static-based remain at a frequency of 1. Is that what it was before then? Some abilities retain their ability to tick faster in some cases, such as tethers. Durations remain relatively untouched, but now generally last 10 seconds of duration, aside from class abilities and morphs. Individual notes for effective abilities will be listed, blah blah blah. Target dummies have changed, if anybody wants that. Fixed an issue where several status effects minor debuffs were not properly flagged as procs. Oh, okay, empower. Can you get harder overline content? The buff now increases your damage against monsters with heavy attacks by 80%, rather than your damage done with light and heavy attacks by 40%. Note that this bonus does not apply to partially charged heavy attacks, only fully charged heavy attacks or channeled heavy attacks. This was done to prevent medium weaving from becoming a dominant playstyle. Fully charged heavy attacks do 80% more damage with Empower. We have turned this buff type into more of a niche playstyle focused buff that is meant to help empower more accessibility driven builds, as heavy attacks require less precise activation and frequency of inputs compared to their light attack counterparts. In addition to this, we have decided to remove the impact it can have in PvP environments to avoid re-enabling one-shot builds. What if you need some help with accessibility and you enjoy PvP? It's just not happening, right? It's just not a thing. Think about this a lot. They always talk about accessibility, but it's never in PvP. Yes, just PvP is just inaccessible. Like, I think that's just the reality of the situation. What I've learned from all my years of playing ESO, if you just run around and pry and turn on Vigor, don't say that, Jin. They'll hear you and they'll change you. And hemorrhaging fixed an issue where minor mangle was not being removed if the bleed was removed early. Tales of Tribute, is there accessible PvP content? Yeah, I think about it a lot. As a PvPer who's trying to get more people interested in PvP, I have a very hard time of it. I do have a very hard time trying to get people to play PvP with me. I understand why it is, but like, you know, you can't have 80% extra damage from fully charged heavy attacks in PvP. You just can't do that. He will be one-shotting people. Especially gank blades with goddamn Calorians. Anyways. Class specific. Dragon Knight. Ardent Flame. Fiery Breath. Increase the duration of this ability and its morphs to 20 seconds. That's the sticky one, so now it's done 20 seconds. Empowering change. Increase the duration of Empower Ground from this morph to 10 seconds. 10 seconds. How many fully charged heavy attacks can you do in 10 seconds? Depends on the weapon, I guess, right? 3? That's a lot of damage, I think. We hope not get deleted by stealth DKs. Oh my god, that's terrifying. Lava Whip, right, Molten Whip. Okay, this is the weirdest skill now in the game, right? This morph now causes the ability to split the cost of half stamina, half magicka. Reduce the stacking damage bonus to Molten Whip to 20% per stack, down from 33. Increase the weapon and spell damage per stack up to 100 from 75. The weapon and spell damage portion of Seething Fury is no longer consumed when using Molten Whip. Increase the duration of Seething Fury to 15 seconds. Which one's Seething Fury? Increase the duration of Seething Fury to 15 seconds, up from 10 seconds, to help it easier to keep up with the new duration timers of Fiery Breath and Searing Strike. To help this ability become more available to hybrid builds, we've opted to take a very unique route with this ability, where the cost is now split evenly between Magicka and Stamina. In doing so, we hope to see more unique interactions with this skill, as well as aiding more stamina focus. They want a hybrid build, so why don't they just do this with loads of skills? Like, is this a test? Like, are we eventually going to see skills that do half Magicka, half Stamina? Hey HB, you got a headache? Oh no. Make sure you drink your water and rest. So yeah, it's so weird to me. More available to hybrid builds. So where's the availability to hybrid builds if you're on like a Templar or a Knight? I don't know. So weird. Sorks need this treatment. Yeah. Day 3? Oh my god, take it easy. Reduce the damage, increase duration, reduce damage. Dark Talons, reduce the cost of its ability and the Burning Talons morph. Reduce the cost of Inhale. Increase the duration of the snare. Yes! Oh, Protective Scale, 4 seconds. That's still not as good as Race Against Time, though, is it? Is Race Against Time... Race Against Time is snare removal, but it also gives you, like, the crit damage as well, right? And the movement speed. So why would you not just take Race Against Time? Spiked Armor now deals flame damage. Volatile Armor increases duration. Yeah. We know that. Yeah, everything's like increased duration, and then the ticks changing. Igneous Weapons, 60 seconds. 60 seconds uptime on Igneous Weapons. Molten Armaments, this morph now grants the caster Empower. Useless in PvP. Petrified, its abilities and its morphs now deal flame damage as well. Interesting. Not sure if one is buffed or nerfed. Oh god. I hear Sork is just straight up nerfed, right? Judging from when the PTS started. Those patch notes. Grave Lord. Boneyard has changed. Reduce the damage. Fix an issue where his ability's bonus visual effects for consuming a corpse would fail to play. Reduce the damage. Reduce the cost. Reduce the damage. The bonus damage when consuming a corpse. Damn. 20%. Oof. Death Now. This passive now increases your crit chance by 4 to 8%, up from 2 to 4. Rapid Rot is passive now. Increases your damage done with damage over time effects by 5 to 10. Down from 7 to 15. Damn. Shocking Siphon has got a change. Skeletal. I know nothing about Necromancer really. Necro, are these buffs? I mean, reduced cost is a buff, right? But reduced damage is a nerf. And reduced damage per tick. I suppose fixing the visual effect is a buff. Death Scythe. Hungry Scythe. The heal over time from this morph now lasts for 10 seconds and ticks once every 2 seconds, rather than lasting 5 seconds and ticking every 1 second. The Crip Buffs. What Crip Buffs? That's oh yeah, that's a that's oh god, yeah, that's double crit chance. For some reason in my head I thought it was they nerfed it to 2 to 4. Yeah, I like in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's gonna, you know, it's not gonna suddenly make your Necromancer build unstoppable. Like, I don't know. It's not huge. Is there anything here? Parrying Grasp. The power for pets now increases the damage and healing potency by flat 1,000 rather than 40%. Interesting. Crip Buff seems good. I doubt the dot knife is and it is impractical. Impractical, yeah. I mean, like, I think the biggest change affecting PvE is the light attack thing, I think. I think all the dots, I think it's gonna, you know, it would just take some getting used to, but after a while I think it'll be fine. Nightblade. Killer's Blade. This morph now causes the execute scaling to change to a linear increase of up to 400% damage done to targets under 50% health, rather than the static 300% damage done to targets below 25. So now it's got potential to do more, and it starts earlier. But it's not as big of a buff when they're at 50%. 3 bars, Wi-Fi, a clinic, easy. The heal from this morph now scales off the highest offensive stats, rather than max health. Interesting. That's a buff, right? Nightblades don't usually have that much health. Impale. This morph now also increases the execute scaling to 330, up from 300. Jesus. Blur. This ability and its morphs now reduce the cost of your next roll dodge by 10% whenever you take direct damage, stacking up to a maximum of 100%. With a half-second cooldown between each tick. Reduce the cost of your next roll dodge. Reduce the duration of this ability and its morphs to 20 seconds, down from 26. Mark target. Its ability and its morphs now once again cost 2,700 magicka rather than having no cost. It had no cost before, really? These abilities will now heal you to full health when a marked enemy dies. To sweeten the risk-reward gameplay, this heal ignores Battle Spirit but does not ignore other healing reductions or bonuses. Reaper's Mark, the morph. Increase the duration of Major Berserk granted to 10 seconds, up from 5. Ooh, you might be getting marked more in PvP, guys. 10 seconds of Major Berserk. Damn. Teleport Strike, Lotus Fan. Increase the duration of the damage over time to 20 seconds, up from 10. Interesting. Aspect of Terror. As ability in its morphs now apply Major Cowardice to enemies hit. You can hit 6 people with Major Cowardice. What does Cowardice do again? Does it reduce damage? I forget. Mass Hysteria. This morph now removes the target cap from the ability. Wow, so you can hit even more people. Manifestation of Terror. They've changed this one a lot. This morph no longer fires 2 traps and instead fires 1 trap at your target location, as it was allowing you to effectively double the target cap and step on the morph distinction of Mass Hysteria. Reduce the duration of the trap to 20 seconds, down from a minute, Jesus. Reduce the duration of the fear to match the base ability. Reduce the cost of the morph. This morph no longer summons a pet for a brief second to fear the target, and now instead immediately fears the target to reduce situations where it could fail to go off. It is reduced weapon spell damage. Okay, I thought so. Major as well. Isn't that like 400 reduced weapon and spell damage? Damn. Path of Darkness. This ability and its morphs now apply their effects instantly rather than after a delay. Twisting Path. Reduce the damage per tick. Reduce the cost. Reduce the healing of Refreshing Path. Dark Cloak. Reduce the base healing by approximately 42%. This morph has a new added functionality where the heal over time is increased by 150% when not moving. The reason this morph has been iterated on so many times is due to the difficulty in finding a sweet spot where it feels powerful enough for specific builds, primarily tanks in PvE encounters, without being too dominant / enabling in other areas, primarily PvP encounters. By finding a solution that is not as synergistic with some of the class's main advantages in PvP encounters, while empowering the enforced playstyle for the builds it is meant to help in PvE, we think the new iteration will finally reach a point where it can settle, aside from potentially adjusting the simple numbers, and see less swings in design. Are Nightblades liking this? I'm not a Nightblade player. Give one camouflage of Chameleon. Give another class like a stealth. I'll be up for it. Its ability and its morphs now last 20 seconds on Shade. Nice, 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 nice. Any other changes? Morph now will always critically strike. Surprise attack will always critically strike. Up to once every 4 seconds when flanking an enemy, huh? Wait, when you come out of stealth, you critically strike as well. So you can come out of stealth, critically strike, then hit surprise attack and critically strike? Damn. Conceal weapon passively grants minor expedition. Interesting. This morph now also increases your damage done by 7 to 10% for 5 seconds after leaving sneak or invisibility. The Nightblade's melee spammable options are a bit behind other melee spammables in terms of both flavor and impact in PvE. Oh, I was going to say it's a PvE thing, isn't it? Oh, right, Sork. What's going on with Sork? Nothing good, I've heard. Reduce the damage of this ability. Crystal Weapon. Reduce the damage of this ability so that it now does 145% of a ranged spammable attack between both attacks rather than 200% of a melee spammable. This damage reduction was taken out of the second hit rather than both to help reduce situations where you are penalized for missing the second part of the attack. Reduce the damage of this ability so it now does 145% of a ranged spammable attack between both attacks. What if you don't use it ranged? It's just to stop like ranged crystal melee stam sorgs have been screwed over there. Reduce the cost? Yay. Oh my god. Previous update, we wanted to help reinforce the uniqueness of this morph by giving sorcerers the ability to change their rotation by having a spammable that persists through other ability activates. While we succeed in this, not adjusting the damage of the morph caused it to spiral out of control in terms of raw DPS and burst potential. After spending a lot of time in testing, we believe we've hit a sweet spot. Yeah, nice. Cries and Salt Main, I know, right? Daedric Mines! Fixed an issue where its ability and its morphs could detonate instantly on a target multiple times. There's now a short cooldown window where target cannot be targeted again from the mines. I thought it was the whole point, so they just walk into them and they blow up. Dark Exchange. This ability and its morphs now restore their resources in increments of 2 seconds over the duration. Reduce the healing of these abilities to 8,000, down from 8,090. Dark Conversion. This morph now increases the amount of healing and resources restored, rather than reducing the cost. As a result, the cost is now 3,240, up from 2,160. It now heals for up to 10,000. I think it's just too strong in general. Now heals for up to 10,000. Immediately restores up to 4,500 magicka and up to 3,000 magicka over time, rather than... Wait, the magicka version of this restores magicka instantly and then magicka over time? Did that... Oh. But the stamina version doesn't do that? Dark deals the stamina version. Increase the cost of this morph. Do they both do that? Wait. You dark deal, and then you get resources. Like, I use magicka to get stamina back. What does dark deal do? I think I'm confusing it. It doesn't matter. We'll move on. We'll move on. Bound armor. This ability and the bound Aegis morph now also grant minor protection. Ooh, minor protection. Extends the duration of the effects. The block mitigation now lasts 5 seconds, and the minor protection now lasts 20 seconds. I thought it was just it just gave you resources back instantly. I didn't think it did it over time. So confused. You get some instantly and the rest over time? Has that changed since I played Sork? It's been a while, I don't know. I want to test that. I want to see if it feels different to what I remember. I don't ever remember getting resources back over time. I just remember getting a flat amount of resources. Maybe it was a semi-recent change. I mean, I have played a bit of Sork recently. Maybe I just didn't notice I was getting resources back over time. Weird. Reduce the damage here of this ability. Oof. Conjured Ward, Empowered Ward. This morph now also grants you and your allies minor endurance. How nice. Daedric Curse. Increase the bonus your pet's damage to 45%. Oh. Storm Atronach. Reduce the duration of this ultimate and its morphs to 15 seconds. Oh, it doesn't last as long. The base cost has been increased. Oh, but then when you get to level 4, it reduces it again. Okay, what's the point? The Synergy Charged Lightning now goes to the Synergizer and 5 nearby allies in a 12-meter radius, rather than the Synergizer and the Atronach itself. Greater Atronach. This morph now increases the damage of the Atronach's single target attack by 30%. The Atronach from this morph now only uses its area of effect attack rather than a mixture of single. Okay. Strange. Strange. Unstable Familiar. Increase the duration of the special ability from this ability. I don't know much about pets and stuff at all. I've always been like a Stamsort. I can so enable multiple Atronachs out. That's yeah. Oh wait, Atronach's gonna get changed, right? Wait, what am I interested in? Hurricane. This morph now increases in damage by 12% per tick, up from 8, along with the frequency adjustment. This will reduce the total maximum to 120. Jeez. Poor melee Stamsorks are just useless now. Right. My Templar. My Templar. Actually, going through these patches are hard for me because I never remember the names of anything. Like, I know all the skills and what they do, but I just can't remember the names of them. So I'm like, which one is that? Which skill is this? What set is that? I don't know. What passive is this? Daedric Spear, Burning Light. This passive now triggers after dealing damage with any attack rather than only Daedric Spear abilities. That's the one that does damage, right? Increase the cooldown of the stack generation to 500 ms. Wow, it's a bit of a cooldown now, huh? Reduce the damage of the proc. So it now does it on anything, but it takes longer to stack, and it does less damage. Currently, this passive is strong, arming the Templar into using only puncturing strikes as your... They really want people to stop using puncturing strikes, damn. Removing a lot of the potential for other abilities that center around different gameplay. With maintaining the original identity of keeping up the pressure against your primary target, we've removed the restrictions of damage source completely and added a longer cooldown window to reduce burst potential and message spam on the server, helping the passive stabilize to a more expected... Was puncturing strikes causing lag? Is that why they've done all this? Like, puncturing strikes and Burning Light was causing too much on the server, you know. We were spamming the server with this shit. Puncturing strikes, here we are. Sibelius morphs now hit 3 times over a channel time of 800 ms rather than 4 times over 1 second. Implemented new animations and visual effects to match the attack cadence. Reduce the cost of this ability and the puncturing sweeps morph to 2295, down from 2700. Reduce the overall damage of the primary attack by approximately 21% since this ability no longer incurs a DPS loss while weaving within a 1 second global cooldown window. It was very hard to weave because it was 1 second long, that's what they're saying. But now you can weave it. Increase the damage of the area of effect hit by approximately 7%. So you do less damage to the primary person you're hitting, but you do more damage to the other people. Reduce the duration of the snare to 0.5 seconds per hit, down from a second. Puncturing sweeps. Reduce the healing of this morph. Fix an issue where this morph was only healing up to 5 times in a large target count encounters. Biting jabs. This morph now also increases the damage of the area of effect portion of the attack by 25%. So the stamina morph does more damage to everybody else in the area. Just gonna put my Okasaur Templar back into a sword and board build with Burn Beam, the Jesus Beam. Okay. So it costs less. It does more damage to well, it costs less. It hits fewer times. It does less damage to the main person I'm attacking, but does more damage to everybody else in the area. 25% up from 7%. It's an 18% increase in damage to people you're not actually attacking, who but just happen to be stood next to them anyway. Want to make Weaver less impactful? Yeah, that's like, yeah. Now, Templars can now weave puncturing strikes because it takes less than a second. And with a brain axe, you have sustained issues. What the hell does that mean? Like on DK, I think DK sustains the easiest, right? You just use an ultimate, you get all your resources back. Not to mention the, what's it, the combustion passives they have? Mind you, they did get nerfed, didn't they? Spear Shards. Reduce the damage per tick by approximately 23%. Reduce the cost. Blazing Spear. The morph now increases damage done to an entire ability by 30%. Purifying Light. This morph's heal now ticks every 2 seconds. They didn't change power of the light. Interesting. That's still the same. I thought the DKs were the easiest to sustain on as well. Or Sorks with Dark Deal or whatever it's called. A Radiant D, like Hot D. Increase the base damage of this ability and its morphs. Wow. Better execute on RD. Let's go. 23% extra damage. Ooh, do I stick that in my build? Oh, it's going straight in my basket. Solar Flare. Increase the duration of Empower. Is fucking useless. Solar Barrage. This morph now lasts 20 seconds. Wow. Reduce the damage per tick. Wow. Yeah. 20 seconds up from 10. Cleansing Ritual. This ability in this morphs now lasts 20 seconds. These abilities now take 1 extra time of their duration. Reduce the healing per tick. No. No. How am I supposed to stay alive with 3% less healing? I need that burst heal. I'm in PvP. Reduce the damage per tick of this morph. Hasty Prayer. Restoring Aura. I mean, it's okay for Templar. Jabs is a bit of a kick in the face. Dark Deal and Dark Conversion don't have to be used much on Sorks unless you streak constantly. That's the problem I have in PvP. I literally attack a Sork, they immediately do a 180, streak away, streak away, streak away, Dark Conversion, Dark Conversion, Dark Conversion, streak away, streak away, streak away, Dark Conversion, and then I just can never catch them. If you aren't streaking constantly, do even Sork? Yeah. I don't think I've ever killed a Sork who didn't try to streak away. Like, I don't think it's ever happened. Like, who stood their ground and fought me. It's like, whenever I kill a Sork, I'm hitting them in the back because they're running. That's the only time. Hey, Versuit, yeah, how you doing? Zip, zip, potato chip. It's like every time I play PvP, you guys see it, right? Every time I'm like, oh, streak. I got to sprint and use all my stamina chases streaking Sork. That's not how to play Sork. That's the majority of them, sadly. Being road cheese. Right, my Warden boy. I really want to play some Warden PvP. Are they any good? Let's find out. Animal Companions, Advanced Species. This passive now increases your armor penetration by 495/990 per Animal Companion skill slot, rather than damage done. Penetration instead of flat damage? That's a nerf, right? Oh, we talked about this last time. Guess it depends. Dive! Cutting Dive. This morph now applies a bleed on targets for 10 seconds. If they are not off balance, rather than a stacking bleed. A bleed for 10 seconds. But that's a sticky dot. Shouldn't that last? No, wait, I'm getting confused, don't worry. Shriek. Big brain change, 2% damage. Increase doesn't do anything if you don't do any damage to begin with. I mean, I would have rather that because I can get penetration from other sources, right? I can't just get flat damage from anywhere else, really. Well, there's very few sources to get flat damage. Screaming Cliff Racer. This morph now increases your weapon and spell damage by 100 for 10 seconds after hitting an enemy, and increases by an additional 300 when hitting an off-balance enemy. Rather than what's the easiest way to off-balance an enemy as a Warden? Do they have any skills that set enemies off balance? Hey Ron! Hydrate! How you doing? Rather than increasing its damage by up to 15% based on your distance, the bonus weapon and spell damage is tracked separately, so you do not need to worry about losing the bonus when hitting an enemy that is no longer off balance. Is it going to be like Dizzy Swing? Am I going to want like Dizzy Swing, Cutting Dive? Dive sets them off balance? Yeah, but then I can't use that if I've taken Cut and Dive, right? Hang on. This morph now applies a bleed on targets for 10 seconds if they are not off balance, rather than stacking bleed on targets if they... Oh, it doesn't... I thought it used to set them off balance. Does it not anymore? Dive is a base skill. Oh! Yes, it is. Yeah, it will set them off balance. Okay, yeah, you are right. Yeah. Yeah, I was getting confused. Yeah, correct. Hey, Bex, what's up? How's your weekend? We're going back and adjusting the morph's distinction of these abilities by helping them focus on different areas where we feel the Warden can struggle. A lot of areas, I think. You don't fucking never see Wardens in PvP anymore. Cutting Dive's bleed is now much easier to maintain, but will produce less damage as it no longer requires as intense of requirements to upkeep. While Screaming Cliff Racer Ridge Racer will help increase your overall damage by more, rather than making the attack itself more bursty. But we like burst! Give us some PvP changes, please. Falcon Swiftness. This ability and its morphs now also grant 4 seconds of snare and immobilization immunity. Falcon Swiftness gives you Mind Berserk when slotted, right? And movement speed. And snare and immobilization immunity. I think Wardens are pretty good in PvE, right? You just... PvP, they kind of... Like, they used to be stronger in PvP. Sorry, I'm late. I had to get blood work this morning. You gave somebody else your blood instead of giving your blood, sweat, and tears here, Bex? Wow. I'll forgive you. Scourge. This ability and the Deep Fissure morph now last for 9 seconds in total, detonating once every 3 seconds. And again, once after 3 seconds, and again 6 seconds after that. Wait, what? Fucking what? Deep Fissure lasts for 9 seconds, and it detonates after 3, and then it detonates after 9. 6 seconds after. What? I gotta wait 9 seconds till that goes off again? Jesus. So you hit the ground, 3 seconds later it pops off, then you gotta wait another 6 seconds before it goes again. Fuck that. These abilities now hit with 2 unique damage sources. The first deals approximately 20% less damage. The second hit does 38% more damage when compared... Oh, wait, I want this one. This morph continues to reduce the time it takes for the second hit to go off, but this second hit does not gain extra damage. Why? So that just goes off at 3 and 6? Is that what that's saying? I prefer Wings on Healer Warden to Magicka, cost race again. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Stanton was the undisputed ST in PvP when I started playing. Yeah, when Warden came out, I've said this before, I've never been as strong in PvP as I was when Warden first came out. Like, that was my strongest ever build. And, like, when I got Emperor on it, it was literally unstoppable. It was so much fun. But they're, like, terrible now by comparison. Mag Wardens tend to be in proximity longer to enemies. I mean, the problem I have with this skill is it's clunky as fuck anyway, because it looks where it goes off where your character is looking, not where you're looking. So you literally have to make sure you're not only looking at your opponent, but you're also like facing them, if that makes sense. And if you're sprinting too fast forward, half of it will come out behind you, so it doesn't have that good of a... You know, it's got like the latency skill thing, which I complain about a lot. Yeah, and like... again, as a PvP perspective, if you're fighting a good player, you won't hit them with Scorch or Sub Assault Like it just, they'll move out the way. They'll be like they wouldn't know. Um, so use deep fissure and recast every 3 seconds. If you've got the sustain and the resources for it, yeah, I think that's what you do. How much does it cost? Oh, they did increase the cost. It's 2,700. I mean, yeah, rather than waiting 6 seconds. I mean, the second hit does do more damage. So you have a choice of either recasting it for a quicker hit, or you wait longer and do more damage. That could, I mean, that could work. Like the way I set up my burst on my Templar, like the way you should set up your burst is if you can't burst them from 100 to 0, you get their health down a little bit, and then you set up the burst, and then hit them when they're at like, when they think they're safe at like 60% health. Then you hit them with the burst. So this could be good where you hit them with 1, and then you set up your burst so it hits with the second hit, which has increased damage. So that's when you use your ultimate and you stun them, and then you start spamming your spammable. But in PvE, I don't know if you would want to just... I mean, recasting it again every 3 seconds would be more DPS than waiting 6 seconds for an extra 38% more damage. You can't not have sustained this back. Yeah, with all the dots lasting twice as long. They want you to use it with dive like Sorks and Hoarding Curse, Crystal Frag, Mage's Wrath. Yeah. Yeah, like the way I would use it is I would hit it, then I would cutting dive as I was sprinting in, and then I would like Dawnbreaker, and then it would like all go off at once. Back in the day, that's what I used to do. Throw a Dizzy Swing in there. Back when Dizzy Swing used to knock you up. No, I miss those days. The changes to Scorch and their morphs were done in attempts to try and help the class feel less intensely focused on buff management and allow for other actions in combat, while still trying to retain their burst-oriented nature. To a more balanced to say it, they've got a burst-orientated nature, which is exactly what we want for PvP. They're not bursty enough. Like, the problem now is there's too many proc sets and everyone's got fucking 40k health. So having a burst character who can't do 40k damage in one burst isn't going to be a very good character. To a more balanced degree, we're comparing them to other burst skills and taking their total time before impact better into account. By separating the damage, we can also better allow the skill to function as a burst skill or a sustained DPS skill, where recasting it early will result in more DPS, whereas waiting for the big explosion will result in those dopamine printing burst combos. That's what we're talking about, Ganon. Yeah, if you recast it, it would do more DPS, but if you wait, you get that dopamine. Don't you want the dopamine? Swarm. Lasts twice as long. Blah, blah, blah. Wild Guardian. The bear from this ultimate and morphs now attacks once every 2 seconds. You know what? I'm going to make a Warden Bear PvP build. I'm doing it. I'm going to make the bear work in PvP. It's happening. I fall asleep while the skill goes off. That'll make your victory even more impressive because you won't even be looking. Reduce the damage of the bear's passives? Why? Increase the cooldown of the crushing swipe? Why? The active ability Guardian's Wrath now has a 700 ms cast time for the bear. Man, I used to use the bear when it came out as well, and I was hitting like 35k damage on somebody in PvP. Some of the funniest patch notes. Second only to the Sims. Sims got some crazy patch notes. Feral Guardian. This morph now quintuples. That's 5 times. The status chance application of hemorrhaging instead of guaranteeing the effect. It to reduce the ease of access to the status without investment into applying it. Could you imagine if I just made like an OP Warden Bear build that was like unstoppable? The bear would be clunky as hell trying to get it to attack the right person. I want to do it. The heal over time changes. Arctic Wind. Its ability and the Polar Wind morph no longer deal damage over their duration. The heal over time effects now tick once every 2 seconds, over 10 seconds, rather than every 1 over 5. Increase the healing tick per 6%. Oh, okay. Polar Wind increases the initial heal. And target an additional ally if you are interested in healing your allies. Increase the healing over time. Arctic Blast causes the initial heal to scale with your highest defensive stats rather than max health. The morph now causes the heal over time to be converted to damage over time. The morph no longer ranks up in cost reduction. This morph now stuns immediately upon cast rather than requiring hitting the same target 5 times.
Thank you,
So they got like a reliable stun there. Pop Princess, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Increase the duration of this morph to 20 seconds. Reduce the damage. Increase the chance of applying a status effect. We are readjusting again the requirements and differentiations of these morphs to help improve their gameplay distinctions. Yeah. Crystallized Shield, one of my favorite skills in the game, by the way. Very weird, I know. Fix visual errors. Could fail to cast. Fix an issue where the third projectile would fail to visibly appear. This morph now has a 500 ms cooldown, as it was allowing the ability to sometimes absorb more than 3 projectiles. Damn. Ice Fortress, increase the duration. Reduce the damage per tick of this ability. Okay. Wow. There's the classes. They're classes you can't really compare because like apples and oranges. Not just between the mag and stand versions. Yeah. It is hard. Like, it's an impossible game to balance, you know. There's always got to be, like... you know, there's going to be classes that are good at some stuff and bad at others. And I think that's fine, you know. That just makes, you know, gives the game some... What's the word I'm looking for, isn't it? Hey, Pop Princess. Found you in my recommended. Welcome in. Greetings from America. Isn't it early for you? I'd still be in bed. But welcome in. Bow nerfs. Don't worry, Gannon. We got an extra 1% damage to our heavy attacks. Volley! Reduce the damage per tick. Reduce the cost. Wait, does this last 20 seconds? Can't remember. Poison Arrow. Its ability in this morphs now lasts 20 seconds up from 10. See, that one does. Heavy attack bow builds on the Argonian with heavy armor. Yeah! Destruction stuff I know nothing about. Ugh, Magicka. No thank you. Give me a big old hammer I can hit people with instead of a staff. Yes, please. Reduce the damage. Reduce the cost. Wall of Fire and its morphs now do 10% increased damage against burning enemies. Down from 20, and that's enough. Destructive Touch. Dual Wield. Flurry's got a new animation, everybody. Check it out. Master Bow uptime. Ooh, that's a good shout. Did they revert the in-hand damage changes between melee and range? What is that again? I forget. These abilities now have a completely new animations and visual effects to match their attack cadence. Rapid Strikes. This morph now increases the damage done of the next hit by 5% per stack, up from 3%, resulting in approximately 2.5% more overall damage, and reduce the base cost. Bloodthirst. Fix an issue where the heal from this ability was considered magicka rather than stamina based. Blasphemy. Twin Slashes. This ability in this morph now lasts 20 seconds. See, so this was like a very good dot that a lot of people were using, I think, right? Now, like in PvP, I mean. Now it's going to last 20 seconds, and it's going to have less damage per tick, therefore less pressure, therefore it's not going to be as good. Also applies hemorrhaging from the initial hit. Blood Craze was the one that heals you, right? This morph now heals anytime the ability deals damage, rather than only when the damage over time deals damage. This morph now heals anytime the ability deals damage, rather than only when the damage over time deals damage. So it heals on the initial hit as well now? Is that what they're saying? Reduce the healing coefficient to match the damage over time coefficient. Difference between light and heavy attack damage on melee weapons versus ranged weapons. I can't remember again. Remember when people in PvP, but yeah, that is a big thing people have been talking about, right? Like if you apply a 20-second dot just before you die, and then when you respawn, you're going to be stuck in combat forever. I think they've had a standard of range doing 10% less. 100% melee should be more effective because, yeah, I've talked about this before, right? You have a whole other axis you have to... Not only do you have like the X and Y axis, you know, like ranged builds, all you have to do is get the enemy in the target, right? You just put the cursor on them and then you hit buttons. Whereas melee, you've actually got to be within a distance as well, which is way harder. Command in combat, yeah. Blade Cloak. Last 20 seconds. Quick Cloak. This morph now adds 10 seconds to duration. So we lost 30 seconds? Is that what they're saying? The ability in his morphs now lasts 20 seconds up from 10. Increase the damage per tick of this ability and Quick Cloak by approximately 7%. The morph now adds 10 seconds. 30-second Blade Cloak. Deadly Cloak reduces the damage per tick of this morph. But they've made Deadly Cloak worse. By 41%. They made it 41% worse. Aren't you using a semi-safe zone to maybe reset combat state and respawn? Ideally that should be the case, Alchemicon, but there have been times where I've died and I spawn at a keep. Like in Cyrodiil, I mean. I died and I spawn at a keep and then I travel back to a gate and then I go to the Way Shrine and I'm still in combat. You know, it's like I'm stuck in combat for like 10 minutes after it thinks. Like after I'm actually in combat. It's a nightmare. I mean, like, that's just a bug that should have been fixed years ago. Deadly Cloak doubles the damage, right? But now it's only going to increase the damage by 59%. So close to a nice. Klopson.
I'm phrasing.
Resto Staff. Grand Healing. The ability in his morphs now last for 10 seconds. Yay. Illustrious Healing. I don't know any of these. Add 5 seconds to duration. Healing Springs. This morph now increases your magical recovery by up to 15 for every target healed, stacking up to 20 times, rather than restoring up to 30 magicka for every target healed. Two-handed, my baby. Let's go. Cleave. Carve. This is what you were talking about the other day, right? Reduce the damage per tick of this morph's damage over time by 20%. Carve got a nerf. Increase the duration of the final stack to 32 seconds, up from 30, to grant it a better grace period in a real rotation when paired with other duration effects. What the hell does that mean? I love British people. I like water bottle. Crit charge, Stampede, decrease the damage per tick. I just released a build with Stampede. God damn it. Forceful, increase the splash damage of this passive to 50 and 100 of the damage done with light and heavy attacks, up from 25. The splash damage when you do a heavy attack will do 50 to 100% of the damage to other people. Interesting. Wreck and Blow. Oh, grants some power. Yeah, shit. I thought they changed Wreck and Blow. I got excited. But now it's even more useless because Empower doesn't work against players. Carly isn't really British. She's never watched Doctor Who. But I have seen Matt Smith naked now. Spoiler alert. Armor. Heavy armor. What up, Element? How you doing? You've seen Hot D. Element's seen Hot D. Damn right we have. But Element, where have you been? But sorry, you don't have to be here every day. But Element, I started playing Expeditions Rome, and I absolutely fucking love that game. Sorry, we're going off on a tangent now. And that's like an incredible game that I used to like. It's like a game called Gladius that I used to play when I was a kid, and it's fucking incredible. But I wouldn't recommend that game to anybody else ever, because I think they'd all find it boring. But I'm just like, oh yes, Roman strategy, and I'm like, I'm up all night playing Expeditions Rome. Anyway, we're going through these. Heavy armor. Fixed an issue where this passive's bonus armor could fail to contribute to abilities or effects that use physical or spell resistance to scale in many cases. Well, that sucks. Soul Trap. They changed Soul Trap. Reduce the damage per tick. Oh yeah. Werewolf. Howl of Agony. Fixed an issue where this ability and its morphs were not properly updating their facing requirements to your current target. Infectious Claws. This ability and its morphs now last for 20 seconds. Claws of Life. Reduce the amount of healing based on damage done. Less healing. Claws of Anguish. This morph now causes the entire ability to apply disease. Decay and Rot. Definitely never watching House of the Dragon. Oh, it's good. Expeditions Rome is amazing. I had to uninstall it to make room for other games, but I'd love to go through it again. Yeah, like I'm already like, oh, I'm being like good honorable guy, and I just want to go through it again and be a dick.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Plan on moving to the UK? It's a nice place. I wouldn't recommend it though. Tame Shadow Official. We got. Please, Arden. There's a raid. Hey Pooza, how you doing? Thank you for the raid, Tamer. How are you? How was stream today? How was Elder Scrolls treating you? Hey Kuchizuken, hope you're doing good. We've chosen you again. Yeah, I was just about to say, we got to start being like this. You keep raiding me, and I need to return the favor at some point. Thank you so much. Hope you are good. Arden greets you. We're just going through the patch notes. Hey DJ. Oh, you tried one of the new dungeons? I am going to get around to that eventually. Sometime. I have not tried them yet, no. We are going to do them today, though. Maybe just on normal time. God, am I almost 3 hours in? Oh, God, we need to get on with this. Yeah. What they doing? What they doing? What they doing? I'm excited to try them, though. Circle of Protection, reduce the cost. Ring of Preservation, this morph now heals once every second over 10 seconds. Turn Evil, reduce the duration of the fear. No! Trap Beast does things now. This morph now decouples the chance of applying the Hemorrhaging status effect. Entropy's getting a change, don't care. Accelerate! Increase the duration of snare and immobilizer. This... They buffed Race Against Time. I can't believe they buffed the other skills. They buffed the Warden wings and they buffed the Dragon Knight wings. But then this is still better if you ask me. I think it's more expensive, but it's still better. Oh, the bubble. I'm excited for the bubble. You talking about update 35 is the reason we tripped over? Yeah, but we're going through it. You know me, I'm a PvPer, so I'm definitely... It's more of a PvE update, but I'm looking at it from like a PvP perspective. 20 seconds of minor force. I know, right? Like it's... Wait. Increase the duration of minor force. Or if you have the channeled one, you can get 60 seconds of it. Holy shit. Why did they buff this skill so much? Do it, HB. Look after yourself. Orb got changed. Reduce the damage per tick. Reduce the cost. Increase the movement speed. Mystic Orb increases your health, magic, and stamina recovery by up to 100 while it's active, rather than increasing your damage done. Really? They changed it to recovery. Really? That's weird. Engeob. This morph retains its original duration, movement speed, tick rate, and cost. The morph now ticks 1 extra time. Blah de blah de blah de blah. Assault Caltrops. Reduce the damage per tick. Fixed initial where these abilities fail to apply their effects. Wait, how long does Caltrops last? Anti-cavalry. Its morph now increases the duration of the effect by 5 seconds. Lowest for my negate sword, because that is why I don't streak so much on that team. There you go. You got 5 PvP sword. Caltrops is 10 seconds. I just reduced the damage, huh? And then Razor Caltrops is the one that gives penetration. Or breach. Major breach. They want people to do Sigil Order, is that why? They're like, look at this good skill if you did the Sigil Order. Oh, it's painful. For you instead, thank you, Pop Princess. I appreciate that. Check out my socials, everybody. Sub to my YouTube. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs on YouTube. It's free to do. I'd appreciate it greatly. This is actually going up on YouTube, I think. So if you missed anything, if you wanted to see me react to things, because that's the meta content creation now, isn't it? You want to do Sigil on your odds? Buy from the crowd store. Vigor. This is the big one, right? This ability now lasts 10 seconds at base, up from 8. Reduce the healing per tick. Jesus Christ. The problem with this is it's reduced the healing per tick of this, and it reduced the healing per tick of what's the Templar skill that removes effects and heals you? So both there's 2 skills of mine where it's reduced the healing per tick, so I'm just gonna have less healing. But it increased the duration of the healing over time to 5 seconds. This morph. Oh no, wait. Yeah, I would take resolving. But now resolving Vigor also gives minor resolve. Wait, wasn't that major resolve in the last when PTS died? Thank you for the lurk, Tamer. Have some good sleep. Thank you again for the raid. 1K subs on YouTube means OnlyFans. Be sure to subscribe, everybody. That was major resolve, right? Now it's minor resolve. I guess that's a few extra resistances for me, I guess. That would make up for the lack in healing. Only bites? Oh my. That sounds like a food related. Anyway. Champion system. Cutting defense. Oh god, I don't know the names of any champ points. Force of Nature. Reduce the amount of armor penetration this node grants to 660, down from 900. Didn't they add that last patch? Fix an issue where this node did not work properly with many of the status effects, and you could lose effectiveness with some status effects, such as chilled, blah 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 blah. Weapons Expert passive now increases light and heavy attack damage by 4%, up from 3%. They fixed companions. Isabel will now more consistently respond to defeating bosses throughout the world with the player. Did you know that? Ember needed loads of fix because she's a broken mess. Well. Consumables. Ravage health potions. Fix an issue where this potion affix was not correctly labeled as a proc. Charged. Reduce this trait's maximum value. They nerfed charged? Since its buff, this trait has eclipsed the niche category it once was a part of, where it was beating out... Why is there a niche category? Shouldn't it all try and be... Anyway. Where it was beating out other traits even if you were using only 2 status effects. The new value should now have this trait be much closer in power to others when using 2 status effects. In other words, Dragonites using charged will now be hurt. The alias of what command, Nightbot? Are you okay? Ability altering weapons. Crushing wall. This set now increases the damage of your wall of elements. Which one am I more interested in? Merciless charge. This set now deals lasts 10 seconds, up from 7 seconds. Reduce the damage done per tick. This set no longer stops refreshing early when using in tandem with Stampede. This change was done as the set no longer needs to carry the damage of Stampede to be more competitive with other weapons and should help it bite a little less in PvP. Okay. Blood Moon. Increases the damage of your light attacks by 20-50 rather than 55%. What was Iron Blood? Was Iron Blood when you use a potion? Is that what Iron Blood was? No, Iron Blood was... I forget Iron Blood. Which one's Iron Blood? This set now grants major protection, major aegis, and minor protection. Major and minor protection? Rather than reducing your damage taken by... okay, that's what it was. Reduce the snare potency. Reduce the cooldown. Okay. ESO communal husbands? What the hell? Hey, Jailer Bird, how you doing? I have to tell you something epic. Drew and I went to a castle where we were exploring. They were playing Skyrim. You didn't invite me. Jailer, come on now. That sounds awesome. Hell yeah. Are you allowed to say which castle it is? It might give away... it might be too much information. But that sounds awesome. I saw you were streaming again last night and I didn't get a chance to stop by. I'm so sorry. I really wanted to. But welcome back. I hope you're doing good. Thank you for shouting out, Jailer Bird. Just made a comeback. Go follow. Yeah, which one was Iron Blood? Do we know? Fun fact about me, I'm a transgender woman. Hell yeah. Welcome in. You're in good company. We have to talk about how I have a very large LGBTQ plus community, even though I'm just like, I'm not part of the community, you know. I'm just a cis heterosexual guy. But you know, I wanted to make a community that was suitable for everyone. There's a castle that some husband built for his wife, built a playhouse for his kids. I'm like, it's ain't a playhouse, it's a house. Is it? Yeah, I was gonna say, is it huge? And then a bowling alley? Oh, that sounds awesome. Hell yeah. I actually live like really close to some like Tudor ruins, which I tend to go and have a look around every now and then. It's very cool. Oh, thanks guys. Iron Blood procs when you take damage. I think that's what... is it when you're like full health and you take damage? It's something along that. Okay. Savage Werewolf got wrecked. This item set now only procs off light attacks when you are within melee range of your enemy. A set now ticks once every 2 seconds instead of 1. Yeah. Sergeant's Mail says be reworked to now grant you a stack of Sergeant's Focus for 5 seconds whenever you do damage with a heavy attack. Increasing the damage of your heavy attacks. So you do a heavy attack and you get stronger heavy attacks for 5 seconds? So you just hold heavy attack. Okay. That's a light attack and heavy attack set, right? Yeah. Monster Masks. Oh, the big one! Wait, Brown Thirst. Fix an issue where the set would not proc with certain area effect. Okay. Oh, good soul. Back on the work grind, so I'll be doing the usual work and luck. It's totally fine. We're on different time zones, so blah 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 blah. I can't talk, Jailer Bird. But thank you so much. Thank you for the work look. It's good to see you. Flat heavy buffs plus empower. I was gonna say, like, was it Sergeant Mail with empower? Right, Oaken Soul, here we go. This set now grants minor versions of Courage, Berserk, Force, Protection, and Heroism, rather than the major versions. This set now also grants Minor Mending, Slayer, Aegis, and Empower. Wow, just flat Empower? This is what I was saying earlier. It's now... Oaken Soul is a great accessibility set, but it's not a great accessibility set if you want a PvP. This is what I was saying. There is no accessibility for PvP whatsoever. And whenever there is, people complain it's too strong, and then it just gets nerfed and removed from PvP. So, like, you know, nobody ever wants to try out PvP because it's not accessible. Like these 3 buffs are now just fully PvE focused. What they should have done, sure, have them on. They should have kept major protection at least. Keep a buff that keeps you alive rather than, you know, major courage, berserk, and force was a bit much. So sure, minor versions of those. I reckon they could have kept major protection. Just... I don't know. I fucking love Gaze of Sithis Trass. Yeah, fucking love it. As I was saying this earlier, right? Like, that set where it does increased damage to people who are blocking, I was like, I don't really find that many people who are blocking. So they should just put Gaze of Sithis on. Then they wouldn't have to worry about blocking. Yeah. But again, it gives you health recovery, which isn't good in PvP. Right? So it's like, again, it's more helpful not in PvP. But yeah. The original intent of this set was to improve accessibility of 1-bar builds by providing many bonuses that you would get from running extra abilities on your back bar and a few other name sources that may come from coordinated groups to help make up for the flexibility and specialization loss of having 5 ability choices instead of 10. While we did see the suggestions we're incorporating now, we didn't want to go too hard on the set after the heavy nerfs to the original form without some more concrete metrics and evidence, which we have gathered since update 34 had launched. We now feel comfortable that the set will still be incredibly impactful for its target audience, but in a much more balanced way. It may end up being stronger on some builds now depending on your focus. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's just, I mean, the problem was people were abusing it in PvP, right? Which then caused people to get annoyed. This is the problem. I want more accessibility for PvP. I want more people to play PvP. I've spent the last year trying to get people into PvP. But then they come into PvP, and then they just hear people complain they get killed, and they want sets nerfed. And then they nerf those sets, and then, you know, PvP is no longer accessible. I haven't seen a Calorian change in here. And we're on to Darker Vengeance, and but yeah. Calorian's got like a stealth nerf, right? But I don't think it's sticking. Anyway, yeah, so, I mean, it's a good change, it needed. I still think they should have kept major protection to help people in PvP. Maybe heroism? Might have been a bit too much, though. I don't know. Dark Convergence! Increase the cooldown of this set to 25 seconds up from 15 to help reduce the frequency in which it can introduce ultimate-like effects to the battlefield. Yeah, Bex is going up on YouTube, so I thought I would have it there so people knew what I was talking about. People knew who I was talking to. Hey, Judson! Found the recipe for cloven war towards... Oh! Hell yeah, I don't even know what that is. What is that? I honestly hated this set. It was annoying as hell. Less people will now use it if it's 25-second cooldown. The problem is there's going to be more ball groups coming back. There's going to be more of that nonsense, which is impossible for me to deal with if I don't have anybody playing with me. Oh, that one. Oh, I do know. That's very cool. Where do you get that? Where do you get that recipe? Sells for 2 mil? Oh, fuck, Jesus. Wrathguard Shield. This set's damage can no longer be blocked. This was very confusing to me, because doesn't this do damage when you stun them? And how can you stun them and they block it? I don't get that. Anyway, it can no longer be blocked. Wait, does it do AoE damage to everybody when you stun somebody? I don't know. Does this drop in Cyrodiil? Really? Sounds like you need a healer. No, my problem with bull groups is I can't kill them. Like, I just move out their way. I just don't stand in the group of blues and get blown up. But I just can't kill them, so they end up running around a keep for 2 hours, and there's nothing I can do about it. Procs off immobilize. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Some stuns do go through blocks. But I thought it was like you stun them and then the damage hit. You get a head off, Pop Princess? No worries, thank you for the follow. Oh, I'm handsome. That's very kind of you. Have a good day. Catch you later. That is why everyone's here, right? Because I'm very handsome. Plague Break. This set now has a cooldown of 20 seconds per target. Say, I'm currently using this on my Templar. 20 seconds per target, rather than only against targets that do not already have the dot on them. Does it mean the exploding has a cooldown of 20 seconds? Reduce the damage over time by approximately 48%, but its damage can now critically strike as it does not have ingrained modifiers built in. Increase the damage by explosion by approximately 3%. The damage from the set now always applies a diseased sadist effect. That will help with that champion point that blows people up when you kill them with disease. If Arden Bilberry. That's true. Yeah, I mean, there you go. Fixed an issue where the set was not proccing off some direct damage abilities. What was it not proccing off of? This set is being run in far too many situations outside its target audience. This set was made to punish groups that are stacking purges in tight groups, but due to the current nature of the set, it is punishing those who aren't using a cleanse either, as the dot is dealing sizable damage and has no downtime. With the cooldown window, we hope to introduce more counterplay to the set by giving a window of safety from becoming a carrier again for a time. We're still okay. I mean, it's still good. It's still good. I'm here because I'm carrying in the future. Yeah, you're invested. Powerful Assault. Increase the duration. Oh. And increase the radius. A buff to Powerful Assault. Interesting. Trial sets. Reliquin. Isn't this a set that you have to light weave with? But yeah, sure. Just some visual effects. Whatever. Increased XP. Let's go. I'm excited for that. Increase the monster density at the Ebonheart level 1, Ebonheart level 2, and Aldemary level 1. Yeah. These really bad Ebonheart and Aldemary players couldn't handle the monsters, but now we think they're good enough. Yeah, is that everything? Hey Victorian, how you doing? Fixes. Fix an issue causing some of the Cyrodiilic gear vendor bags to give level 1 items instead of the item scale to your character's level. Oh dear. That would have sucked. Furnishing stuff. Again, it's all just a different language to me right now. I will learn it. I will learn this furnishing language though. Well, yeah, there we go. Quest fixes. UI fixes. Fix an issue where your previewed weapon or spell damage in the character UI wouldn't be correct. I'm paranoid that's happening at all times, you know. My stats aren't accurate. Gamepad fixes, everybody. Well, there we go. We made it. We made it. What do we think? Housing metagame is amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna hit the ground running on that eventually. We use IC to level tunes, but yeah. I mean, if I was on a different thing, I would still run to that Daggerfall area, although it would be a bit of a nightmare. Easy Miner Defile and everyone might be decently good against board groups. That is true. So Calorians didn't get a nerf in the end. Or has it got a nerf, but it still wasn't in the patch notes? Because the next build I want to make is a Nightblade, so I'll just put Calorians on then. Hey Ree, I think we got our crown crates from sharing the event tickets. Hell yeah, how you doing? Hope you're doing good. We did, yeah, I saw them. I should open them. Well, there we go. That is patch notes for version 8.1.5, Lost Depths DLC and update 35. Thank you everyone for watching. Yeah, the servers were up ages ago. I already played a little bit before we did this. They came up earlier than intended, I think, which was cool. So yeah, I think in general, again, I'm a PvP player, and this is a PvE change, so PvP does get screwed over a little bit. Yeah, I think like the idea is what I talked about earlier, right? There's like players whose skill level is up here, and there's players whose skill level are down here. So what they've done is nerfed light attacks, so this damage is like down here now, and then this damage is down a little bit because they weren't doing light attacks anyway. But then now they can make content in a much narrower range, and they can change things easier because the level of the DPS range is much narrower, so it's easier to make content for that. Which is why they made one change which reduced a few boss damage health. So I think they'll work on that a bit more. But there you go. There you go. Thank you everybody for watching. Shall we get into it?